And we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are now going to discuss the updated draft order after this week, where the teams currently stand at this particular moment. So let's get right into that. So I'm just going to remove this for a second. Change the show segment, of course. So this is from tankathon.com. As you can see, this is the current top six here. So right now, they have Caleb Williams, the quarterback of USC, going to the Bears. Now, I think it all depends on what happens with Justin Fields, because he did play well yesterday. He was their leading rusher, had over 100 yards rushing. He connected on that long touchdown to DJ Moore. So I think depending on how he finishes off the season, that could dictate what the Bears are going to do. And I know some people have their complaints with Caleb Williams. Talking about him crying after a game. Being comforted by his mom in the stands. So people are like, oh, I don't know if he has like the the attitude to handle let's say New York, for example. And it's just like, listen, I think people are allowed to show emotion. You saw Joey Bosa, like he was in tears after he got hurt yesterday. Listen, yeah, you could say there's no crying in football, there's no crying in baseball. That's a more common phrase, but it's like it's gonna happen. And at the end of the day, like if you're getting a talented player, and like you've been lacking at a certain position for a while, and you're desperate, and you need something, like you're gonna draft the best player available. And now I'm not saying Caleb Williams is the best player available. He's definitely gonna be one of the best. I'm not somebody that can make that that claim, but like for a lot of these teams that need a quarterback, he's going to be on their draft board. So they could say whatever they want, like, that instance, with him, crying and being comforted by his mom. If a team doesn't want to deal with that, then that's their decision. But for me, like if you have the talent, and the kid's still in college. I'm saying kid. It's like I'm 23, but he's still in college. Like, yeah, I get it, but I think people are allowed to show emotion. So, but we'll see. And then this could be an instance where the Bears they trade down, again, and get a bunch of picks, get more impact players, continue to build this team. But we'll see. For the Cardinals, they have Marvin Harrison Jr. From Ohio State going there. And it's interesting because, it's the same thing. Like, what are the Cardinals going to do with Kyler Murray? Is he going to continue to be the guy? I think he should. Kyler is a good player, and he has looked good these first two games. Right now the Cardinals aren't a very good team, but I think if they could build this team back up, and surround Kyler with a lot of talent, because we saw what he could do with DeAndre Hopkins. You get Marvin Harrison Jr. there, and everybody talks about him being the best receiver in this draft, and he could be even better than his father. I say you go out and do it. But the Cardinals have a lot of work to do, and I think you get rid of Kyler, and you bring in one of these other quarterbacks. Now, yeah, like a lot of these quarterbacks are talented, but you know what you have with Kyler. And Kyler, when he's healthy, he's a solid quarterback. So we'll see what they end up doing. They got Drake May from North Carolina going to the Patriots. The Giants winning now. We'll see what happens, because the Giants and the Patriots end up playing each other next week. So, we'll see what happens in that game. But, the Patriots, I think they're going to want to upgrade a quarterback. Mac Jones is probably on his way out. But again, like the Patriots, they don't really have a lot of talent on offense. You have Ramondre Stevenson. Your tight ends aren't bad, but you don't really have an elite wide receiver. That's something that the Patriots are lacking, and they're gonna have to change that. And Bill Belichick might not be there next year. I mean, they keep talking about you know him going somewhere else, maybe going to the Chargers, maybe going to Washington. Like there are so many things that could happen. I think it is starting to look like this could be his last year. But I mean, I think most people thought it was ridiculous that the Patriots were going to get rid of him after the game in London. Um, that just wasn't going to happen. Like, let him finish out this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, the Patriots they got to fix their offense because you still got talent on the defensive side of the ball, but the offense is kind of what's your weakness. You're lacking playmakers. You're lacking an elite quarterback. And again, Drake May is one of the best quarterbacks in this upcoming draft, so he could possibly be the guy that they go with. And then the next two picks are both tackles. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, for the Giants, I mean, as a Giant fan, they need a quarterback. I don't want to run it back with Daniel Jones. But it was being reported that the Giants, there's a lot of people in the Giants organization that still believe in Daniel Jones. And I think it's a mistake. I just don't, when I see him, I don't see a guy that's going to be an elite quarterback in the NFL. So I think the Giants have to go in a different direction. But if they want to run it back and try to build this team around him, then I mean, for me, then I got to concede because I don't make the decisions. But if it was up to me, I would be drafting one of these top quarterbacks. Even if it's not Caleb Williams, even if it's not Drake May, there's plenty of quarterbacks in this draft that they could go after. I think that's what they got to do. You got Michael Penix, you got J.J. McCarthy, that they have like other teams getting in this draft. They got Penix projected to go to the Rams, which I mean I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean Stafford is 35 years old. I mean he's not going to be around for that much longer. And the Rams are kind of, they haven't looked good this year. The Vikings, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with Kirk Cousins. So, I mean, that makes sense. I think the Giants, they should try to draft a quarterback, especially because Daniel Jones is not the QB that this regime picked. But, again, I don't make the decisions. So, they got the Titans drafting Brock Bowers from Georgia. Now, I don't know. I mean, is that what the Titans should do? I feel like there's other positions that they got to address before that because they got a Conquo at tight end. I mean, I guess it's one of those like you draft the best player available, which is not bad. But I don't know. That's let me know what you guys think about that. Then in the top 10, I know it's cut off, but they got Dallas Turner, an edge rusher from Alabama, going to Washington. Yeah, because Washington just traded Sweat. They traded Chase Young, so they could do that. Laetu Latu, if I pronounced that wrong, I apologize. The edge rusher from UCLA. Falcons maybe getting him. I don't know. Maybe that's another team that could be in the market for a quarterback because, I mean, now they're going to start Desmond Ridder again next week, but, he hasn't been great. So, Packers, they got Kool-Aid McKinstry projected to go to them. Again, Packers, they their offense looks like it's putting it together. You got Jair Alexander at corner. They might be looking for another corner. They got J.C. Latham going from Alabama going to the Bucks. I mean the Bucks offensive line has definitely changed since they won the Super Bowl. So I mean they're looking to improve that. They got Malik Nabers going to the Napers. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. From LSU going to the Jets. I mean, yeah, listen, like you talk about the Jets and all the weapons that they have, they really don't. So I think you gotta, maybe get one because the defense. Listen, the defense is great. You got to work on this offense. I mean, for me, I think maybe offensive line could be another option too. Because listen, if Aaron Rodgers is going to come back next year, I think you're going to want to do everything you possibly can to surround him with a offensive line that is not going to that is a wall that you're going to be able to protect him next year. Because if you don't do that, he's going to get hurt again, and that probably wouldn't happen anyways. If they didn't if he didn't get hurt in the first game, he was probably getting hurt later in the season. I mean, look at Matthew Stafford with the Rams. I mean, their offensive line isn't that good. I mean, he's getting beat up back there. I mean that's why some of these guys got hurt. Stafford got hurt in his game yesterday. So, I mean, again, we'll just have to see how it all goes. But I mean, for me, I think for the Jets, if you want to, if Rodgers is coming back, you gotta protect him. And also, apparently, they're looking to try to get Devontae Adams again in the offseason. I saw something about that, so we'll see. But yeah, they got a defensive. They got Jerzon Newton going to from Illinois, going to the Chargers. I mean, yeah, Chargers defense hasn't been good. Might be a new head coach there next year. It should be because Brandon Staley's defense has not been good, as we talked about. I did talk about Michael Penix from Washington going to the Rams. And that's the lefty quarterback. So that's and I'm a lefty too. So it'd be nice to see another lefty quarterback to go along with Tua. They're coming back. Listen, that's an endangered species, left-handed quarterbacks. So it'd be nice to see that. And I think the Rams could be a good situation for them. I mean, if you keep Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua has become a good player for them. They get Karen Williams back, and he continues to run the football effectively like he did, before he got hurt. I mean, yeah, he's got playmakers to work with if he ends up being good in the NFL. We'll see. But yeah, that's basically the updated draft order at the moment. At least the top 5, top 6 here. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Where players can end up. Who's going to end up with the top pick? Do the Bears trade out of it if they get it, or do they draft a quarterback and they trade Fields? Let me know what you think. So with that, we will take our final break of the show, and then when we come back, we are going to talk about the Super Bowl rematch that will be happening tonight between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, and I am so excited for this game. I cannot wait for it. So that is what we will get into when we come back from our final break. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.